guys, welcome back to Rustic and Life DIY. If you're new here, my name is Brenda and welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. I want to tell you how much I greatly appreciate each one of you that are here, that have subscribed and that are watching. I am so excited to show you some of the things that I made this week, and not so excited about one of the things, but we will get to that later. So let's jump right into the crafts. Okay, so this is a photo of the first project we're going to create today, and these are the items. Now I used my Cricut and I made this sign that says where flowers bloom, so does hope. And then we're going to use two of these Dollar Tree signs, some of this wire, I guess it is, two of those flowers, and this placemat, all from the Dollar Tree. And so I start off by just taking off that bell that was on that flower, as well as the little chain. And you're only going to see me working on one of these flowers because I had another one previously done, and so I just needed one more. So then I went and I spread apart the petals, made room, and then I took a piece of paper and I'm tracing out those petals. I do the large and the small petals. That way I can have a pattern for that material that I'm going to put on it. So once you get it all cut out, then you're going to paint your flower with chalk paint, and I used just white, the Waverly chalk paint in white. And I did have to use a small brush to get in between the flowers, so you may have to do that as well. And that way you don't have any pink showing through. Once it's done, I put it aside to dry, and then I'm using these popsicle sticks to attach these two boards together, and it works really well. And so once I have them all attached, I'm going to add my shipping paper to the back. So I cut out one that fits, and I'm just going to hot glue that on, and that way it gives it a nice finished look. Now I know you can tear off the front of that picture, that Easter sign, but it's really hard, and I would just much rather use that shipping paper to cover it. So then I just take my Waverly chalk paint in white again, and I'm going to paint the back or the front of the board. I guess it's the front now. And I don't do a full coat because I do want some of that brown to shine through to have a little distressing look. Then I use some of this spackling compound, and I'm just filling in those holes from where the sign holders were. And then I'm going through that crease in the middle too to just help smooth it out a little bit better. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry as soon as I'm done. And then I'm taking this placemat with those little patterns. And first, actually, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to cut the backing off because we only want to use the front part of that. And so I'm going to use the little pattern and cut out my petals. And I cut out the big ones and the small petals, and I don't remember how many I cut. I cut about every other petal is what I was going to put the fabric on. After I put the fabric on, I realized it still had a little more white, so I cut out a few more and added a couple more. So then here I had already done some decoupaging, so I just put some Mod Podge on the petals and then put the fabric where I wanted it. Now, because some of those flowers have creases, they didn't want to stick very well, so I did have to use some clamps to make sure that they were stuck. And then you just saw me sand down the compound that I used, and now I'm just painting over it to cover it. And then once I get done painting here, I use some of this. It's from the garden section. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of wire with rubber around it. And it was kind of really bright color green. So I took the celery color in Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just painting those. It kind of gave it a little nicer green color. And then here we go. The hardest part of the thing is putting this stencil or this picture on, and I was so happy though. It worked pretty well. I think my problem is I've got the super strong hold for the transfer tape, and so it makes it really hard when trying to pull it off because it always tries to pull the vinyl with it. But here I was so excited because it actually came off pretty easily because I did a trick where you put baby powder on it to kind of help get rid of that tackiness. And it seemed to work pretty well because here it all went off pretty smoothly. Not too bad. A lot easier than what the other sides have done before. So then after I was done, I took those flowers and I was placing it, looking at where I wanted it, and I hot glued the little stem that I'm using on there. Now, let me tell you, this was a challenge, and I have learned since this a better way to do this. But I put E6000 in hot glue, but it was just not wanting to stick. It kept popping up, and I was getting so frustrated. So you see me putting a clamp there, trying to hold it down. I'm doing the same thing here, and it still popped up. So I paused my video and called my husband because I knew that he had something that he used when he worked on cars. And basically it's like a super glue, but it has an accelerant, I think he calls, and a spray that you put on it, and it causes it to set up within like 10 seconds. And that really worked. So here he's showing me how to use it. I'm putting the little drops on, spraying it, holding it for about 10 seconds, and then it just holds really well. So I will put a link to that accelerant in my description box if you want to order it. It is kind of expensive, but the other way you can do it is you can get some wood or some blocks or domino pieces or whatever and put it in the back, hot glue it to the back of the flowers, the round part, and then hot glue that or glue it to the poster itself or the picture itself, and it works. So then here I'm just putting that other stem on, and then I'm going to Mod Podge. I went around all of the fabric on the flowers and just put that Mod Podge. That way it helps it seal it and it doesn't ravel. And then I'm going to put some Mod Podge over the sign too to make sure that that vinyl stays place. And then I had these leaves. They're left over from a flower and I had it in my stash bin. So I just trimmed them down to make them look more like a leaf you'd see on the flower, and then I hot glue them. And one thing I'm learning is all these little things, instead of throwing these things away that I don't use, I put them in a little container. That way I can use them in another project. So here I just take some eucalyptus that I had and I'm placing it, trying to decide how I want to do this. Then I grabbed some of this ribbon and I cut in 4 strips, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what size strips they were, but I just hot glue the ends together, and 2 of the strips are bigger. Actually, I think 3 were all the same size, but I hot glued 2, and then I did a smaller one and I hot glued that together. And then I took the 2 bigger ones and I'm putting them together and I'm scrunched them together, and I'm just fluffing it here. I took the other longer piece that wasn't hot glued together, that is the legs, so I just ran it through the smaller loop. Then I put a twisty tie and the eucalyptus in there, and I tightened it, and then I just hot glued it, and there we have a bow. Then I'm taking my Waverly wax in Antique, and I'm just doing a little light brushing, dry brushing on to give it more of a distressed look. And then once I'm done with that, I will go over it with some white as well to just kind of help blend that wax in with the white. And then once I was done with that, I took some jute twine and I just wrapped it around the bottom. I think I wrapped it either 3 or 4 times. And then I'm just going to hot glue the end to the back. And then I will take some jute twine and I'm putting some tape. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I made a little jute twine bow as well to put with that bow. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I did have to trim the legs of that bow quite a bit because it was covering up the words. So here I'm just putting some tape on the ends of that jute twine. I'm hooking it through those holes. And then I'm tying a knot in the back, and then we have a hanger. And yes, I did have to punch a little bit of a hole where I had put that compound because I needed a place to put my hanger. So there is the final project, and I thought it came out really cute. So this is the next project, and this is actually going to be a gift for my sister. I'm giving it to her today. So what I used is these popsicle sticks I got from the Dollar Tree, these spoons I got from Dollar Tree, this paper, scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, as well as another Easter sign from the Dollar Tree. And oh my goodness, you guys, that green board back there, those are at the Dollar Tree. And I'll tell you, if you find them, get them. They're wonderful. So basically I start out here by hammering the spoon to make it flat. And then I take those pliers and I'm bending the spoon. And everything was working all great here. And I go to bend the next spoon and it breaks. So my husband tells me, go out to the garage and do the hammering. And so here he's helping me because of course I'm not strong enough to get it flat. And he's showing me this little press that he has. And he says, this will work better. You can bend it so much better. And oh my goodness, yes, it worked great. It was wonderful. And so here he is helping me and showing me what to do. So I bend this, I get it done, and I am just so happy and tickled pink. There it is. That's what it looks like. And so then I go to do another one, and guess what? It breaks. And I tried another one and it breaks again. And I was getting so frustrated. So I ended up having to go back to the Dollar Tree and get some more spoons, and every single one of them broke. And so I was so frustrated. So my husband and I, we got all ready. We went out looking for some spoons. We ended up going to Dollar General, found some more spoons that ended up working. I didn't record me doing it because by time I was done with all that, I was so frustrated. But yes, we did get them. They were a little thicker metal, I think, and they ended up bending and not breaking, which made my day. I was really frustrated with all of this. As you can see, I kind of threw that hammer down. So then once it was done, my husband actually went and screwed those two boards together, and then he screwed on the spoons for me. And I was going to record it, but with the frustration with those spoons, I didn't get a chance to. So here I'm just taping the spoons because I am a very messy painter and I don't want to get paint all over the spoons. So then I'm just taking my Waverly chalk paint and mineral and I'm painting that green board with it. And I ended up having to do like 3 coats to get that darker green really covered. My original plan was before those spoons got on there, I was going to sand it down to make it a little easier, but that didn't happen. So then I'm taking my miter shears here and I am clipping the rounded edges off those popsicle sticks, and I'm just going to use them as a border, like a frame. And here I'm just measuring them out to make sure I have all the right sizes and the right amounts that I need. And then what I like about the miter shears is you can do angles. So once I had that all done, I grabbed the paper and I'm just looking at the placement of it. I sand off some of that glitter so that the glue will adhere to it better. And then I'm using just a glue stick. You can use hot glue or super glue, whatever you want. And I'm just putting that glue all around, and then I am just placing it where I want it and rubbing it in. And then I do the second piece, and then I cover that other part of the board with that second piece. And I love this paper. I just think it's really, really pretty. So I'm not going to show you doing this vinyl here. I tell you, that whole spoon thing just threw my day in a tailwind because I couldn't even do my vinyl right. So I waited till the next morning. I got up early. I came in and I painted my little sticks there. And then I'm going to use E6000 and hot glue and glue them all around to make a frame around my wording. And then I noticed that I covered up on the little coffee sign. It had a little steam, and I kind of covered up the steam, but I took a little marker and I drew in the steam. So then once I was done with that, I just took off all that tape, and then I grabbed some jute twine and I doubled it up and I wrapped the round part of the spoon with double twine. And it's kind of hard to see. I'm sorry it's not in the picture, but I just wrapped it around. I went around it and then I hot glued it. And then I just took a single strand of that twine and I'm wrapping it around the edge of the spoon. I just thought this gave it such a nice farmhouse and finished look. So I just wrap it around, and then when I get to the end, I add some more hot glue. I did add hot glue there where it bent, to keep that twine in place, and then I added it again at the top. And then I'm just going to trim it down and put some more hot glue in there, and then just push that piece in, and then I just kind of smushed it together with the glue so that it just covers the tip of that spoon nicely. And then once I did all those spoons, I just took some more twine. I decided I wanted to include some twine around the outside of that border just to help kind of give it a finished edge. So here I'm just gluing it to the edge, and I go all the way around the photo or the picture. And then I just trim it off, and it gives it just a nice finished edge on the end there. And then once I get done with that, I believe I'm going to, yes, I got some more jute twine to add as a hanger. So I'm using super glue and hot glue here, and I'm just gluing the end pieces to the back. And then once I get that all on, I get some of that shipping paper and my glue stick here, and I'm just putting glue all around. And again, you could use hot glue, super glue, whatever. And I'm just going to put that shipping paper on the back there so we have that nice finished edge. And then I trim off the excess, and we have a very cute picture, or what I should say, cup holder. My sister has a little area with her coffee, I guess you could say a coffee bar, and that's where I hope she puts it. So the next item were those books. And okay, guys, this is the one that I wasn't very happy about. I loved that picture. I thought it looked great. I had this wonderful idea, but it didn't turn out like I thought it would, and I probably am going to go back and change it at some point. But basically, I just took some of this white wrapping paper, and I took a whole bunch of books. Some of them I bought at the Dollar Tree, some of them I had in our closet. And I am just cutting out this paper to fit the ones that don't already have the covers that come off. And so I'm just going to trim this paper all the way down and make it to be like a book cover like you would get in the store. So once I had that all trimmed, I took this book that has the cover and I just turn it upside down or inside out, and then I place it back onto the book that way. That way it saves paper and time. So then I just take some transfer paper or transfer letters. I took some stickers. I kind of had a variety of different ones, and I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'm just cutting them out here, and I got all the letters that I needed. And once I had all my letters, I started decorating the end of the books now, or the edge of the books. Now, this is where I probably should have used my Cricut, and I will probably redo this again and use my Cricut next time because it will, I think, fit better, and you can make different fonts. I think that will look better and different sizes, because some of the names, what I wanted to do is name each book for each of our kids and grandkids, and one for my husband, myself, and then I just thought it would be such a cute idea. So I'm measuring the books by size by their ages. So, going from youngest to oldest kind of a thing on his side and my side. And so then I'm just putting on the names on the sides of each of these books. And I started with Jesus because Jesus is first in our lives. So then I'm going through, and here I'm using rub-on transfers here, and I'm just putting on each of the book on the sides the initials and last names representing each one of our kids that we love so much. And so I didn't show myself doing all of those because there's just too many books, and that would just take too much time. So here's the final project. So I looked at that and I'm like, okay, there's something still missing. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use this black paint marker that was my husband's. I don't know where he got it. And then I just kind of start going over the edges, thinking maybe if I put some black on here, maybe that will help a little bit because it's too white. Yeah, next time I think I'm going to use like some black cardstock or something like that. Maybe find different colors or black, gray, that kind of stuff. So I got this contact paper at the Dollar Tree, and I thought, okay, this still needs something. And plus, it was showing the white on the ends when they were standing up. So I got this contact paper, and I absolutely love this. I think it's just beautiful, and I'm probably going to go get some more if I can find it. So then I'm just going to wrap the front and some of them on the back, depending on their height and what was showing. And I did that to all of those books. And then I'm just standing them up here on the one on the bottom. It says, "This is us," with some hearts. And I'm just wrapping this with some black twine and making a little bow. And then that is that for that project. So again, it's not my favorite. It's got potential, and I will probably be doing this again to make it cuter. But there's the final product. And here are the final 3 items. And yeah, I love the first 2. Again, the second one, I'll redo it and I'll show you once I do that again, and we'll see if we can make it a little bit better. So I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments below what you think and what was your favorite. Well guys, that's the end of this week's projects. I really hope you enjoyed them. If you decide to give some a try, I would love to see pictures of what you do. So send me some pictures, give me some comments. If you liked this video and haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell and give me a thumbs up. That really does help my channel. And this is my friend. This is my sweetie. This is Oliver. He's my baby. Yes, I really am one of those crazy dog people, but only for him. Anyways, I'm so glad you guys are here, and I really hope that you have a truly wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. So bye. We'll see you next week.